So today I'm going to show you how to install Debian Linux, which we just installed on this USB stick. Usually there's a key combination, like a key button to hit to get into the BIOS menu. On this box it's F10. I would just Google the type of machine or motherboard you have. If it's like a Lenovo device, you just Google Lenovo boot menu button and it should tell you which one it is, and you should get a menu that looks like this. And then you want to select the USB stick that we made in the previous video and put Debian Linux on. So we select this one. Then you should get this menu and you want to go to graphical install. And this box does assume you have internet already. We downloaded the network version of Debian, which assumes you have internet connection. So just forewarning, if you are installing this without an internet connection and you downloaded the network ISO, you'll have issues. You certainly can install Debian with without a network connection, but you got to make sure you download the right stuff. So I'm in the United States. I just click continue here. It auto detects the keyboard, and here it'll ask you for if you want to install extra stuff for the wireless adapters. You just have to, you can select no here when it comes up. So yeah, it says some of this stuff is missing. This is for the wireless stuff. I don't really need this, so I just click no here and hit continue. So you don't need that if you have a wired network, which is I already have here. So then once this is done, you'll pick a host name here, and I usually just call this Nook01, which is the device I'm using. I don't have a domain here, so I just hit continue. This sets up a root password. You want to make sure you remember this. And I'm not going to show this. Whoops. Not that it's anything that's secret, but here I usually just make a username that you'll log into that doesn't have root privileges. So here I'm just going to call this Twitch. In fact, I'll call it YouTube. And then YouTube again, and then a password for the YouTube account. And then the next step will be to configure the drive for Debian, the hard drive itself. I never thought getting the clock on a computer would be so slow, but clearly it's a little slow. Okay, pick your time zone. I'm in Central. Now it's going to configure the hard drives here. So this is the last step before you destroy your machine. So if you're doing this at any point and you don't understand what you're doing, stop now, because you will break your machine if you don't know what you're doing. I'm going to select guided use entire disk. If you have Linux or Windows on this computer already, it will destroy it and delete everything. I'm warning you now. But this is how you install Debian on a new machine. If you need to do something else, you can select a different option here, but I'm warning you, this is one of the last steps before you destroy all the data on the drive. And you can see right here, it says note that all data on the disk you selected will be erased. And now you're going to confirm it. And then I hit continue. I put everything in one partition for simplicity. This gives you one last view of what it's going to do. And I'm going to click continue. I can explain this actually a little bit. you have the main partition here. It's about 1 terabyte free. You have a swap space for when you run out of RAM. Lots of times you'll need swap space. RAM has become so cheap that you really don't run into this too often anymore, but it's there in case you do run out of RAM. And then this, I'm not really sure what this is for. This might be the boot partition. That's why you see B here. This is a little bit represented a little bit different than I've seen from Ubuntu on this. So yeah, this is probably the boot partition. And now we'll hit, this is back where it was. You got to come down here and just go to finish. Sorry about that. Here's the last step. You click yes and then continue. If you click this, it'll destroy the drive. So anything that you had on it before is now immediately gone just by clicking that. So this will install the base system of Debian. And then we can actually pick what type of desktop environment we want. And last time I installed this, I actually picked most of them. So we'll see how that goes and if it's pretty quick to download all these packages. Yeah, there's definitely some things to the swap space. You can adjust that too. If they used to have a rule that the swap space should be twice the size of the RAM, but they don't recommend that anymore. You can even see there, I think it only made it the size, was it 1 gigabyte? And I have 16 gigabytes of RAM, so it doesn't do double the size anymore. That recommendation kind of went out the window as RAM got cheaper and cheaper. So that's nice that when machines started accepting over 4 gigabytes of RAM, you kind of had the swap problem kind of went away, which is nice. Okay, this is just about done with the base system. Select United States. This selects the mirror, basically where you're going to download all the packages from. This one used to be very quick, and I'm going to try it this time. We'll see if it's just as fast as it was before. But this is kind of like the mirror on where you're going to download packages from. Hopefully that one's still pretty fast. We'll see. Because I am going to select a bunch of software here. So here you get to pick what you want to install on this device. And there's quite a few different desktop environments. This is up to you if you wanted to tell Debian what statistics you want to submit to them. It defaults to no, which is nice, so I just leave it as no. It's up to you if you want to turn that on. So here you can select any one of these and it'll install these. And last time I actually just clicked all these, so I'm going to do the same thing. Except I don't want web server, I don't need print server either. But I want these desktop environments. So this is what I'll select. If I want it as a web server or a print server, I can configure that later. And you could certainly configure all these later too. But this way you get them right off the bat with this first setup installation. It has to go through all these. So this is asking what display manager you want, and I usually just pick the default, which I guess is GDM3 here. You can try the other ones, but for me, I've had the most success with the top one. Yeah, so this is done. Just click continue. And now this will reboot and hopefully show me the Debian installation. Let's see how this goes. And then I'll probably just run updates and then be done with this box for now. So yeah, that it's loading up in the corner. It said Linux kernel is 4.19, maybe it said. And I'll fix the, yep, so this booted fine. I'll put in the password. Oh, and this is where you can pick whatever desktop environment you want. These are all the ones that are different. So I usually pick Mate there, or Matea. And then let's log in here. And the first thing I do is always just run updates. So bring up the terminal. There's all these. You can pick the Mate terminal. And let's make this a little bigger for the video. And you want to switch to root. And this will ask you for the root password you put in during the installation. Actually, you just want to switch to root here. And then install updates. And then this box will be fully up to date. And actually, it looks like it already did it for me. Yep, and since it's a network install, it has no updates, which is actually really nice. So that's pretty much how you install Debian on any box. Now, just be careful if you do this, because you want to make sure your machine will only have this operating system on it when you're done. If you have Windows, it will delete it unless you specifically say, I want to keep it. So, forewarning, once again, be very careful during these steps, but thanks for watching. And that's pretty much it for installing a Debian Linux distribution.